do something about it. Um, I okay, I was like collecting my thoughts and still didn't collect them properly to in a way that makes sense. I don't know if that's the case. Maybe it does. But I'm currently struggling with the way um I'm handling Angela's powers atrophying. And I was wondering if like you had any suggestions on how to, I don't know, fix it.
Okay. Can you tell me more?
Um, yeah, so part of it is that like I have an entire plot point that's like she has been, keeping herself and her siblings from using their powers to the full extent for the entirety of this lifetime.
Hmm.
And now she needs them, and they're not there for her in the way that they used to be or should be. And I have the beginning, obviously, of like, hey, wait a minute, they aren't here to the end, but I don't have the middle,
Okay.
as has been the case for me. And I don't know, I feel like it's just very wonky, is gonna be the word I use. And I don't
Okay.
know how to get out of these wonky.
Okay.
Uh,
And so when you say you don't have the middle, do you mean like you don't sort of logically know what it looks like, or you don't know how to write it?
both,
Okay. Okay.
very,
So
very much both.
let's do a little let's do a little writing together, Sid.
Okay. Oh,
Okay. Can I share my screen while we do this?
yeah.
All right. So can you share what her powers are, like initially, like when she's strong and all that?
Um, so it's osteokinesis. Um,
Osteokinesis. That's not spelled right.
KI, yeah.
What is that?
It's basically like bone magic.
Okay.
He can control, manipulate, um, and alter bones and skeletons and other fun things. And she's basically a bone witch.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm trying to avoid calling her that because there's a whole novel called Bone Witch that I haven't read, and I am not going to read until I'm done this.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
So I mean, I know she doesn't want to use her powers, but what does that enable her to do?
Um, at the height of her skill, bone army, skeleton army, fun times. Um, it's also she also has it's kind of like I don't know if anyone's seen the show Avatar: The Last Airbender, but blood bending, but in reverse with bones, where she can, at the height of her power, she can control bones inside a living person, which must hurt, I can only imagine.
Okay.
Um,
And
yeah.
so when she creates a bone army, does that mean she's using like bones that are in the ground?
Yeah.
So is she reanimating skeletons or is she pulling together
Yeah.
like, okay. And then they just sort of like become their skeleton form and she can tell them what to do.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let's pick something. So we're trying to let's get a little more descriptive and like how to write this. We're trying to
Okay.
describe her trying to use her power and it's not working properly, right? Because her powers are weakened. Is that right?
Yeah. Um, it's not just like her specific power, like the osteokinesis. It's like all of her magic is just like,
Mm-hmm. Is there other magic that she has as well?
um, she's a witch, so she can pull from different places, but usually she needs spells and or gestures and or like mixing things, um, or rituals is the word I was actually trying to get all of that to do anything advanced, and her rituals aren't strong.
Okay, so she uses rituals to get her power to perform osteokinesis. Is that right?
I'm gonna say yes, but it's
Eh.
a
Okay.
bit more. But yeah.
Okay. So let's pick something. We're going to do a little writing
Okay.
exercise. So let's pick something specific that she's trying to do with her powers. What would that be?
Oh God. So first big issue is he's trying to repair a hole in the veil between worlds.
Okay. And when she's doing that successfully, how
Hmm.
does that work?
When she's doing it successfully, she can pull from her ancestors' magic, as well as her own through a ritual, and from there it will like she can just force it closed from both sides of the veil because obviously her ancestors have passed on.
Hmm.
Um, but when she has no connection to them, it's only pulling from one side, and it's not strong
Ah,
enough to do.
okay. Okay, so she should be able to pull from her ancestors' magic and her own through a ritual to force the veil closed from both sides, but she
Hmm.
has no connection to her ancestors, and so it's only her side, and she
Hmm.
can't do it. Okay,
Yeah.
so everyone, what we're talking about here is, I mean, well, a lot of different things, but kind of like show, don't tell. And so this is a writing skill, writing craft skill. And so what we're wanting to do in Sid's case here is to demonstrate the difference between what Angelou knows is supposed to happen and what is actually happening. So, Sid,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, can you, okay, shitty first draft, y'all. This is like we're making it the worst it can be. There's no judgment here, right? So, Sid, can you give me like um let's pretend we're writing a scene here. So like what
Hmm.
does Angelou do? What's
Okay. Step one is to just see, I mean, is to start the ritual.
and is the ritual does the ritual go let's focus on the point at which it may be that the ritual doesn't go great either, but let's focus on like the point at which she really starts to be like, why isn't this working? So where in this process does that become super apparent?
so starts ritual, um, can see through the veil, basically like a portal, and she can see her ancestors on the other side, but they all disappear. And so she's like,
Hmm.
oh no, we
Okay.
are not actually connected. This is not good.
Okay. Are you writing in first or third
First.
person? First. Okay. So, do you have some of this written in
No,
front of
I
you? Okay,
skipped
that's
it.
fine. That's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna start a sentence and let you fill it in, okay? Um, I can see the veil before me. What does she see?
Um, it's it's a fabric that's just been torn apart. It's not just, you know, even and circular, it's threaded. Um, and it's also like almost reaching out to the other side to try and reconnect, but it's also kind of reaching out to her as well. Um, like it wants her help or it wants to pull her in.
Okay. What does she normally see?
She normally, you can't see it so much as feel it.
Hmm.
Um, it's normally, a full, complete, like weighted blanket, and she just kind of
Hmm.
moves through life beneath it.
Okay. And does it feel different now?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like overstimulating, like it's too much, too bright. Um, kind of like I don't want to say too windy, but kind of like that, where it's like there's just too many odd sensations coming through. And then, the added bonus of like there are ghosts everywhere that shouldn't be there. Um, and it's like they don't have a connection to the veil itself, nor to the other side, which is why they're all stuck there.
Hmm. Okay. So I just kind of wrote down what you said.
Hmm.
So I can see the veil before me, a fabric torn apart. What's normally even and circular is shredded. I can feel it reaching out to the other side and to me, almost like it wants help, or perhaps to pull me in. All my life, the veil has been like a weighted blanket. I move through life beneath. But now it's too much, too bright, too windy. I can feel all of it. And the ghosts, they're everywhere. They shouldn't be here. They're stuck. Something has broken their connection to the other side. So we've described what she is experiencing and what she expects to experience.
Hmm.
So we've given her, you know, it's normally even and circular, but now it's shredded.
Hmm.
I can feel it. It's pulling on me. All my life it's been this way, but now it's something else.
Yeah.
So what is her reaction to this?
I mean, she's had a couple of days to deal with the fact that there are ghosts everywhere and the veil is torn.
Mm-hmm.
But she's really seeing just how bad it is. And as she's kind of processing the ghosts on this side are being like they want to get through the veil, but they can't because of how it's torn through. She's
Mm,
also like seeing her ancestors on the other side, and it's kind of like the same thing where they want to get to her, but they can't get through. And she's
mm-hmm.
like, this is very, very bad. And also, she's having that moment of like, this feels super dumb. There is a hole. You think people can get through the hole, but nope, this is a very unpleasant sensation all around.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's seeing the like parallel happening of like the side she's on and the side with her ancestors, and she's like, basically she's just saying, fuck, nonstop. Um, and as she's processing all of that at the same time, her ancestors disappear, and she's like, oh no, I need them. I like every single life I've had when I've pulled like strong magic, I've pulled from my ancestral link, not having them there is just gonna like it's really gonna affect how I use magic or if I can use it to the extent that I need to. Um, and it's also the realization that like she can't fix the problem by herself. But she's stubborn, so instead of asking for help, she just goes and says nothing.
Yes. So that's
It's fine.
perfect
She's an 8.
incorporation of her misbelief, Sid.
Mm,
Okay. And so what, there's a couple little elements I want to get in here and then
hmm
we'll wrap up. So she sees the veil before
hmm
me.
Yeah.
What do her ancestors look like? Like, tell me how she sees her ancestors and all that kind of stuff. Because we need to
Um,
incorporate, we want to introduce that important element to the reader through her senses
mhm.
before we give her response to it, if that makes sense.
Yes. Um, her ancestors are just they're familiar silhouettes. She like feels safe and at home as soon as they appear, and like she can kind of recognize a couple like one always, always had her hair braided up into like a very specific top, basically top knot, but thicker. Um, and she can see that. A few of the other, like one was like very strong and he lost his arm when he was very young, so she can see him. She just like it's just not clear the way they should be.
Okay. Okay. And then when her ancestors vanish, what physical sensation does she feel?
She kind of feels like an anchor got like dropped in her stomach. Like she just like everything cuts off. Like the ritual stops. Like her
Mm,
um whatever magic she was using just completely it disappears. Like it's like cutting a phone line.
mm. Okay. Okay. So we're going to read through this and then I'm going to
Mhm.
kind of give you some steps to think about when you're writing this kind of scene or any scene.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see the veil before me. My ancestors stand on the other side, familiar silhouettes. The top knot of whoever it is. Strong whoever with his missing arm, but they're fuzzy. They should be clear, but the fabric between us is torn apart. What's normally even and circular is shredded. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel the, what is it called? The fabric or what? What's the other
Yeah,
side called?
just through the veil. They don't
Oh, the veil.
I haven't thought yeah, I haven't thought that about that. I was gonna do that much later.
That's fine.
But I gotta have to think about
I can feel the veil reaching out to the other side and to me, almost like it wants help, or perhaps to pull me in. All my life, the veil has been like a weighted blanket. I move through life beneath, but now it's too much, too bright, too windy. I can feel it all. And the ghosts, they're everywhere. They shouldn't be here. They're stuck. Something has broken their connection to the other side. This is really bad. I can feel how badly my ancestors want to get through to me, but they can't. On this side and the other, something is broken. Fuck. My ancestors vanish. This this whole
it.
thing needs work, but this is shitty first draft, right? Everything goes still, dead. My magic disappears. I need them. If I don't have a link to my ancestors, I won't be able to use my magic, maybe at all. I won't be able to fix this on my own. Okay, Sid, how does
Mhm.
this feel in relation to conveying like what's happening with her magic and the problems and stuff.
It it feels it feels good because it feels like it relates to when she first sees that particular hole.
Hmm.
Um, which I have written because I didn't skip that. But it does have the same feeling because she is having that moment of like, there are way too many ghosts here. Like I was here a week and a half ago and there were not, none of you were here. What is happening?
Hmm.
That like, and then there's like her, the first time around, she has like singular focus on what she's planning on doing, and that is um trying to see where the problem is coming from in the first time, and this time it's trying to fix the hole in the veil, and then everything goes to crap in the
Hmm.
middle of that, and so it does relate.
Okay. So I'm going to give you some things to, I'm just going to put list because I can't think what to call it. Okay. So when you're writing a scene,
Yes.
any kind of scene, um, we always want, well, most of the time, we want to introduce sort of um, setting and time first. Um, so like, where are we? What's
Hmm.
happening? So, what do they see and experience physically?
Hmm.
And then we want to give reactions. What do they think of what's happening? And what's happening in their body? But actually, body comes first. Our bodily reactions happen before our thoughts. And then we want to either before now, or if you've already established this, it may not be necessary to do in the scene, but we want to know what they thought was going to happen.
Hmm.
So we've got setting and time. So what do they see and experience physically? Reactions, what's happening in their body, and what do they think of what's happening? And then what did they think? So expectations.
Hmm.
What did they think was going to happen? And then we want like a choice or conclusion. What will they do in response? Um, or what do they, well, what question do they leave with? Or,
Hmm.
and so I'll put all this in I'll just copy this bit into the chat if anyone wants to copy down. Um, is this helpful?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to implement this and then share a scene on Mighty Network?
Uh, yes.
You don't have to. It's up to you. We can only tell you good
I
things if you want.
yeah, that would be nice.